Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Love Island cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. Great to speak to you again. We had our day off on Saturday, didn't we? Slight alcohol-related event on my side, so it's all my fault. So we've got a couple of days of Love Island to catch up on. So where do you want to start today?
I just wanted to start really with, the way it was built up on Thursday, where we were going to get this Molly and Shaughna sort of confrontation, after the voting, how she's going to react. And I thought, to be honest, Dave, I was a bit of a damp squib, really. I mean, you were absolutely on the money. I thought she'd walk and she'd take all her morals with her sort of thing, but she didn't. I don't know if there's any right or wrong way whether she should leave or stay, but I think she dealt with it really well, Shaughna. And I think the conversation, there was a little bit of a childish bit with Callum, but I mean, Callum does himself no favours because he can't articulate himself at times. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why Shaughna gets the upper hand. It was wrong what he did. Well, I don't think it was wrong. Sorry, no, I'm actually calling myself out. He wasn't wrong. He's following his heart. And that's what I've seen online. And it's not just bro code and all the guys sticking up. I mean, a lot of the ladies out there have said the same thing, that Shaughna's great. She speaks her mind, but Callum's got to follow his heart. And you could clearly see that he wasn't. And on the actual catch-up on Saturday, there was a bit there where she tried to kiss him and he pulled away and stuff, and it's like, this was before obviously Molly turned up and that, Casa Amor. So I think it's the right thing to do. But when they were together, I think Shaughna, for me, come out of it very well. I thought the way she spoke to Molly was great. There was no animosity between them two, as far as I could see. I know they're not mixing or anything, but it seemed quite amicable and they all hugged. However, Dave, 2 fucking shows later, do we need to keep going on about it? By Christ, I was bored by Christ, I was bored tonight listening to it. I really was.
Yeah, I think I'm bored of it now, and I hope it's gone. But to be honest, it's had to go through its due process, hasn't it? I think they all came out to varying degrees with some kind of credit. Shaughna, the way she's reacted, all right, she's hurt, so she's gonna lash out a bit, and I thought it was a bit off, that comment about she should never trust a scaffolder. Don't know if we have any scaffolder listeners out there, but it does seem like a sweeping generalization. So I thought that was a bit off. I think Molly couldn't really have done much else wrong. She pebble dashed the toilet by the sounds of it, didn't she, before the dinner date? She said, "Oh, I'm just off for a nervous poo." So I appreciate the honesty there. But it was all very amicable, and that Shaughna in particular, her problem isn't with Molly, is it?
No.
It is with Callum. But you know what, Chris? We call some things right, we call some things wrong. But I think, with what we said last week about just she's getting this relationship she had with Callum a bit wrong. In her head, it's this much bigger thing than we as the viewers can ever see. And so I thought she dealt with it well, though, after that initial lash out. She just had to have a bit of time. Now, Callum, I think he's shit with his words, isn't he? So he just can't actually articulate anything. But the fact that he is trying to pull her for a chat and stuff, he is trying to explain himself. He's just not doing a very good job of it. I think, to me, says his heart's in the right place. He's trying to make amends kind of thing. But I tell you what, Chris, I hate the line in these kinds of situations. I hate this line that's like, "I just want you to be happy."
Yeah, it's bullshit.
It's like, really? So if that was all there was, if that was one thing and then everything else in the world came second to that, then we wouldn't be in this position, would we? And it's something people say, and it really, really bugs me. It's one of my triggers. "I just want you to be happy." Well, bullshit, because you're doing exactly the opposite thing that is going to make that happen. But I'm hoping that, come Monday night, we get a different storyline and we just see this thing put to bed now.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think leading into this evening show, Dave, fucking hell. I mean, Siannise has got some great lines, and I think we'll talk about Luke M later. I thought what she told Luke M was bang on the money. She basically did a 180 in my eyes in the space of 5 minutes. But did you not think, and I could be wrong here, and I saw a lot of support for Siannise online, so I could be way off, and it may just be a man thing, so I apologise. I'm not trying to approach it that way, but obviously I will, it's in my nature to. But I thought you were so fucking condescending to Shaughna, setting up, you're an independent woman, go and get it. I'm like, have you got a book of fucking cliches in your pocket there, Siannise, with your weird psycho eyes as you're telling her? I'm just like, for me, Dave, it was off, and I was like, oh, you dickhead, and I always look to my wife, Sam, I always say to her, am I off it? Am I just looking at it from a man's point? She went, no, she's a knob. And I'm like, well, that's fair enough.
I think there might be some women out there who might not agree with that, because Shaughna did it last week, didn't she? She like did like a seance, she got everyone to hold their hands in a circle, all the girls. And I can't remember exactly what the lines were, but it was something like, we are strong, we are independent, we are beautiful. And I'm just thinking, oh, fuck off. But I guess even though there's no clever words in there, is there? And there's nothing that hits home or resonates with me in that statement. If it was a bunch of blokes, can you imagine it? All right, guys, let's all hold hands. We're beefy, masculine. It's just not going to work, is it? So it's not like for like. So it is so, it so doesn't hit home with me. It just makes me think, yeah, I think maybe with women it does. And so even though, I don't know, was it condescending? Maybe in that moment, Shaughna just needed to hear it, even though there was no words of wisdom there. Like you say, it's a book of cliches, but I don't know. I'm undecided on that one, to be honest. What I would say though, Chris, is could she get any sexier lingerie out for the old hideaway with Luke?
Yeah, but
I mean, fuck me. She's played all of her cards there, and I have to say, I'll hand over to you in a sec, but I think I can honestly say there's nothing about Siannise I find attractive. Physically, she's there, but I think it's just her personality that just sets me cold. So I bet it was a bit cold actually with what she was wearing, but it just does absolutely nothing for me. That I mean, what do you reckon,
Dave? Let's not kid ourselves. There's no fucking way she has bought that outfit. That is another boohoo special, because obviously all the clothes are provided. I'm sure she looked really uncomfortable in that outfit, and I felt quite sorry for her at that point, because I'm thinking you can look sexy without wearing something off the fucking sale price at Ann Summers, for fuck's sake. $3.99 fucking negligee thing. I'm sorry. I did feel sorry for her, because she's been forced to wear that. And the thing was as well, she's wearing it, and her and Luke have this lovely night.
About Chris, she's a strong, independent woman. Are you telling me that she's been forced to wear that? When Luke T just rocks up in his fucking boxer shorts.
Dave, so you're telling me before she went into this, she's gone into Ann Summers or Victoria's Secrets, just to keep the continuity going, so we're not just favouring one shop. And she's gone, you know what, that'd be perfect when I go in Love Island. Not a fucking chance. Absolute bullshit from China.
When they say usually, I'll wear some sexy little number, it's like, a bit of a silky number or something like that. But that was proper fucking.
But we did have it in the Australian one as well, didn't we? When Owen, the big psycho Owen, and
that was
the
so
blonde
good.
girl, and she had an outfit on there, and I was thinking, there's no way she's brought that into the villa. It must be a prerequisite.
But the best thing, and I know we've got a lot of listeners in Australia, but I think a lot of our listeners don't watch the Australian Love Island. It was so good, because this was a bromance gone wrong, because the poor girl, I mean, she's from Tasmania. She gets this sexy outfit on, and all the guy can talk about is, I wonder what Matt's doing now. And it seemed to be that was all he could talk about was Matt. And it's like, you've got this gorgeous lady put out all the stops for you.
But she was travelling in Monty at the time as well.
I bet Matt would be so happy to be here right now. It's like, oh, you fucking knobhead.
Dave, I'll be honest with you. The only time I ever think about you in that situation is if I need
to let's not go there, shall we? Have you not seen Friends where Ross Where Rachel puts on the old slave Leia Star Wars outfit, and then because of what Chandler said, he just pictures his mum. Yeah.
Sorry, Dave, I don't picture you when I'm in the throes of passion, honest. I don't.
I bloody hope not.
It helps with a performance. But, anyway,
but you will now.
But will you have a suit on like Siannise, Dave? That's the
question. My word. No one needs to see that.
No, but I mean, let's move swiftly on from that, Dave. But I want to talk about Luke M. But before we do, I want to read out an email we've had from our good friend, Kayla. And it's basically, it's segueing into this. So it says, fuck off, Natalia. I mean, Dave, titles, they're up right up there, the Chris Phelps title of emails, that without a doubt. Just wanted to start with how obvious it is that Natalia doesn't like Luke M. One absolute see you next Tuesday. Now, Dave, you know what see you next Tuesday means next week now, don't you? Yeah. Anyone else out there doesn't know what it means. It's rather offensive. So an absolute see you next Tuesday to pretend to like him. Get in the villa and immediately say you aren't interested. But I'm sure Eva will say the same to Naz soon. Hopefully, Demi and Luke M will become a friend couple because I don't want to see Demi leave. I'm not interested in seeing Molly and Shaughna sort things out. Neither are at fault, and Callum's just so stupid. Why would the boys go over and tell Shaughna how much happier Callum is? Fuck off. They need to bring in like 7 hot boys so these girls can pull it together, Kayla. Now, Dave, that we haven't mentioned that. She's right, Kayla. Why the fuck would the lads go over there when Shaughna's on like as feeling as low as she can, her self-esteem? So she's never been happier, Callum.
You know what?
It's terrible.
I've heaped quite a lot of praise on Finn. But at that moment, I was just like, that was proper buttock clenchingly embarrassing. And I was just thinking to myself, oh, fucking hell, blokes are so stupid at times. I mean, that was just absolutely kicking her when she was down, wasn't it? I mean, what a ridiculous thing to say. Stop for a minute and think, that's what you've seen. But in that moment, how does that make it better?
Exactly. It doesn't, Dave, does it? It doesn't. And I felt sorry for Shaughna at that point. It was terrible. Yeah. And just quickly, I want to get on to Luke M, but a lot of people are calling Paige and Finn out, online, saying that it looks too forced and too staged, that they are playing the game, by the way, Dave. I saw that tonight at the end of the show.
Up until tonight, I was bought into them. And I think, to be honest, it's slim pickings, really, isn't it, Chris? I mean, there's no real couples that you're like, oh yeah, they're definitely going to go for it. I think, again, I know it didn't turn out well, but from early on, I think Michael and Amber looked like they had some chemistry there, whereas there just hasn't been that much with these two. They've just pissed each other off the least out of everyone. And I think the thing is tonight, I mean, fucking hell, could they drag that out any more than they did with the whole girlfriend? And I've said this from our first episode, our first season, this whole boyfriend-girlfriend thing does my head in. It's like, it's quite happy for them to be in each other's bed and do bits and stuff. And then this fucking thing about, oh, will you be my girlfriend? It just winds me up. But yeah, that did look staged, didn't it? It's like, oh, I'm going to ask her to be my girlfriend. Can you all just stand up there and make sure the lighting's right? Get the sound boom arm just in the right place and stuff. It's just a bit of nonsense, wasn't it?
I tell you what was fucking nonsense, Dave. Again, we are going to get on Luke M. Fucking Sean Paul. I'm sorry, Dave. It was like Craig David. I mean, we're going to get the best bits of it in the actual extra bits next week, because the Craig David bit last year was a disgrace. We got like 30 seconds, didn't we? I'll see you on Monday. And then we didn't see him fucking again in the whole week until the Saturday. But the Sean Paul bit, they were just unbelievable. Sean Paul thinking he's not on any of your fucking playlists on Spotify, Apple Music, thinking what a load of shit. And the staged airbrushed fucking video of them all dancing together, I was like, oh my God, it's getting worse this one. That really kicked me in the bollocks that tonight, Dave. I was just like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah, they're all like his biggest fans, aren't they? You're just dying for someone to go like, oh yeah, it's all right. Or even though, oh, fucking hell.
Fucking
They got
rubbish.
Craig David last year, you know, or
Yeah,
something like
I mean.
that. Everyone's like, fucking biggest fan and everything. I tell you what, he don't half look like Shaun Ryder for me.
Yeah, he did.
You know,
Yeah, he
with the
did.
glasses and stuff, the shape of his head and everything. I had to look twice.
Yeah, he ain't got the false teeth like Sean, Dave, but yeah, he's
Yeah,
definitely.
that's true. That's true.
He looks like Sean. Now, Dave, this is the main bit I want to get onto. Luke M. Now, our good friend Terence, he'll speak to us on Twitter and he will disagree on things. And that's what I love, the fact that he will come and say, look, lads, I disagree. That's the whole point. Not everyone's going to agree with us. It's the whole point of this podcast. We're not always right. We just call it what we see from the heart. Do we get it right all the time? No, we don't. And he's come up with a great point regarding Luke M, saying that he just don't think he's got much chat. You know, he can't keep blaming the girls, which I think he's right. And I think Luke M is just completely passive in he's just completely devoid at times and just backs down, which he was quite emotional tonight. But Natalia, Dave, going off obviously Kayla's email, that was there before he even moved into the villa because it come from nowhere with her, and she's just blagged it for that bit of airtime. Yeah. That's the only reason there to go now. And then she did the fake crocodile tears, going, "Oh, I may have led him on." Yeah, you fucking think, do you? You think, yeah, I think you do. I think everybody could see that before you'd even come into the main villa. I was just like, oh, you need to go. It was fucking rubbish.
I guess with Casa Amor, people get, you know, there's so many people, isn't there? Not many of them get much screen time, so it's hard to tell really how much chemistry there is there or not. But yeah, that's bollocks. You're saying like there was no sexual chemistry from the start, you know, and she didn't really stop him from talking to other girls. But you know, I just think it's bollocks. Mission achieved, you know, mission objective achieved. She got herself in the villa. That was her goal, so she's done it. Tick. So that's it for me. I think Terence has got a good point. I think Luke M doesn't have any chat, but he just seems like, just in terms of his personality, just like a normal bloke, you know. So it's not nice when, you know, and I think was it Wallace? You know, he was quite quiet as well, and he said he gelled with Luke M the most because he's just sort of down to earth and whatever. And so I think, you know, being pretty down to earth, I think myself as well, I probably, you know, give him a pass on some things. But yeah, I will say he's got no chat, but that doesn't mean, like, you know, it's nice to see Natalia just walk all over him like that. So he does put himself in a vulnerable position there. And I wonder, you know, we've got to vote for our favourite couples. There's no way they're getting anyone's votes, I wouldn't have thought, unless you've got individual people voting for, say, Luke M or voting for Natalia. You can't vote for them as a couple. If it went down to an Islanders vote, I don't know, you know, which way would that go?
Yeah, and I think as well, just as we're calling him Luke M, Dave, now it's not a Luke M online on Twitter and that. It's just Luke Bieber. That's everyone's calling him Luke Bieber. I think we need to start adopting that name because I think you've made some great points there. Terence has made some great points as well. I think the one thing I would say for Natalia, and this is going off your mantra, Dave, because you know that I am the fucking bull in the china shop, the headless chicken. You're the one who literally, if we go into a project or you're going into anything in life, you're like, what's your end goal? So all I kept thinking of was you thinking, not in that way, Dave, as I mentioned earlier, but, you know, is what is her end goal? Because she's not made a play for anybody else as far as I can see. And obviously all them extra guys have already gone, the extra girls. So who is she going to go after now? Because there isn't anybody else out of the guys that is actually uncoupled, because you've got Shaughna and Demi who are exempt. Everyone else is in a couple. So is she hoping someone else is going to come in and she's going to make a play? I think it's such a bad move for a day. I like, if you flip it that way, she's done the right thing by sort of being honest, even though it was bullshit to get in there. But she's probably actually moved herself into checkmate out of the actual villa, to be honest.
Well, let's see. I mean, she might be able to ride this little ripple. I mean, why are they all fucking in there? It's to be famous.
Yeah.
We mentioned Luke. What's his name? Not Luke Bieber.
T? No.
Luke. Yeah, it is Luke Bieber, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is it? The actual Justin Bieber,
Justin
innit?
Bieber, yeah.
I'm gonna get confused by that from now on. But I was actually thinking Luke Goss. You know, when will I be famous? When will I see my picture in the paper? That's what she's fucking. That's where her game is, and she's just a bit more transparent about it. She's like, "Yeah, I've coupled up with you." She lasted a bit shorter than Leanne did, where it's like, you know what? Actually, just not feeling this at all. So I can't keep up this act that I've managed to keep up for a few days. So I think she's definitely at risk. I think I posed the question, but I'll answer what I think, and that if it goes down to an Islanders vote, you know, and it's the old, you've got the bottom couple, and then the Islanders get to choose. Luke M's been in there for longer, so he'll have built up those relationships, whereas, you know, Natalia knows the Casa Amor girls, but I don't think that'll be enough to keep her in. So I think, you know, in terms of karma, I've got to say, I hope she does go.
Yeah.
Because again, I know they're all playing a game. I know it's all fake, but when it's so transparent, I just think, no, get off my show.
You're right. You're right. And also, Dave, I did see online a few people saying, "What about Shaughna and Luke Bieber?" Could be one, Dave. He'd be loyal to her. He'd worship her. He's a sweet lad, isn't he? He's a good guy. So, and Shaughna, you know, I haven't seen anything, but what's to say? Or I mean, obviously, there's Demi there as well. Luke and Demi.
I think didn't she say she needs to stop going for boys and she needs to get a man or something. I think, I don't know how old Luke M is, but he seems a bit younger to me. I think Shaughna needs someone, if anything, that's a little bit older, but purely going on personality. I'd never thought of that before, but purely on personality, I reckon that might actually work. Because I don't think Luke M would be that bothered about being bossed around and controlled a bit.
No.
So I think, yeah, they might dovetail together quite nicely.
Just something I saw, Dave. Now, the last time we did see one of the girls say, "Oh, what a real man," was in Australia with the Irish guy Owen. And if anybody's not seen it, just put Owen in, which isn't spelled Owen. It's spelled the Irish version, it's Eoghan. Didn't work out well for Owen there, Dave, did it? He was absolutely ridiculous. But Dave, I have breaking news for you and our listeners, and you've provided me with this data. Dave, you already know this, but please pretend that I haven't told you, just so everyone can think it's
Is
something.
it, Chris?
Exactly, Dave.
What is this phenomenal news that you speak of?
We've overtaken the official Love Island podcast, Dave. We are now number one, not in the UK, Jamaica, Dave.
You know what? I think the fact that you've got Sean Paul there, you know, making his appearance on Love Island, it's no coincidence that we're number one in Jamaica. I have no idea how these charts work. But that is a weird anomaly.
Yeah, fuck the UK, Dave. We're off to Jamaica. I've not smoked a good spliff for a few years, but anyway.
Scandalous. We're going to get a T-shirt made up, big in Jamaica. I mean, that is phenomenal. So, again, I'm pretty sure normality will resume tomorrow, but somehow we are number one in the TV and film iTunes charts, and the official Love Island podcast is number 3.
Yeah, damn right, Dave. It should be like that in the UK one as well. To be honest, I want to thank everybody. Seriously, I do, because I don't know what's happened, but this last week we've had such an upsurge in listeners. I really, really want to thank any of our new listeners who've joined a bit late, or you're listening to the back catalogue. Me and Dave, honestly, this is just two friends chatting. We feel like we've got a group of friends who listen, communicate through emails, Twitter, and it's just like you said, Dave. You were so right what you said last week. It's just like being in the pub with your mates and it's just talking, chewing the fat, and it's been amazing. However, for all our new listeners, guys, please get onto your podcast catching app and drop us a review, because we want to catch that official After Sun Love Island podcast, and we want to be number one in the UK, US, everywhere. And then obviously what will happen then is, Dave, we'll be able to go and do a live show from Las Vegas. It's nothing to do with where the actual show's filmed, but me and you just want to go to Vegas. So.
Yeah, it is definitely those Apple Podcast ratings. I think, everyone has done a fantastic job throughout January, and they've given us some good laughs as well with these witty comments and stuff. But I mean, that has to be one of the reasons. But yeah, we're in the charts for the UK, for the US, Norway. I noticed Saudi Arabia, which was a bit of a strange one, but we've got all these different countries, and it's just phenomenal. And we have actually, Chris, we've got another one, and I don't think we've had a review from this place before. So this one's entitled "Great Show, Lads. I love how your opinions on the Islanders strays as much as Mike's mind when confronted with new females," which is a fair point. And that is from Hubgree Hippo 2020, and that is from New Zealand, Chris.
Ah, nice, Dave. Nice. Yeah, lovely New Zealand. Yeah, lovely. We had quite a lot from the Australia, haven't we? So nice to get their neighbours, Dave.
One of my favourite comedy duos, Flight of the Conchords from New Zealand. Been to see him twice across in the UK. Absolutely brilliant. But I don't know, have you seen those, Chris?
I haven't, Dave. The only thing I can think of New Zealand is John Lomu Rugby on the PlayStation 2. But
yeah. No, that was a great man. Long yeah. Rest in peace.
He was a great man. What a unit he was. So, guys, what a great show. Please, if you're listening out there, get in contact with us at Love Island Cast on Twitter or the loveislandcast@gmail.com. And as I mentioned before, please go to your podcast Captain Apple review. So Dave, it's all kicking off tomorrow, hopefully. Get a recoupling, someone's getting booted off, and I can't wait.